But let's shift gears entirely and let's talk about some gaming. Um 2019, I have a really good feeling about 2019 from a video game standpoint. It might very well be the last year for the PlayStation 4. I fully expect to hear a release date for the PS5 in 2020. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next Xbox is announced for somewhere around at a different point of the year, but in 2020 as well, right? So I think that some of these developers, or most of these developers, probably know that it's very, very close. So um, I think we're going to see some people empty a clip in in some of these releases for 2019. So with that said, what do you think? Like I'll tell you of the stuff that I've seen on the calendar, the stuff that I have to split it into genres because I mean, we know what sports video games are coming out. They're pretty much the same ones that always come out. And then I got to go non-sports, right? So the right now, the non-sports video game that I am most looking forward to, and this is I don't know, this could change. I'm gonna say that this can change, but I am really kind of I'm a little bit amped for Metro.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm interested in Metro. Like I thought the first one was better than I think a lot of like the attention that it got. So I don't know. I can't remember the name of the second one, but it's Metro something. It's not just like Metro 2. I forget what it is,
Mhm.
but it's something like that. But I'm interested, right? I'm definitely interested. But from a sports video game standpoint, um, I don't think. Okay, so let me. I'm giving away a lot of my bold predictions for 2019, but one of the things that I expect to see the announcement of a new boxing video game. I don't think it probably won't come out in 2019 unless we're talking about the fourth quarter. But it probably will be more like 2020. I also expect to hear that EA Sports is getting back in they're going to put a boxing game out. I just have a feeling that there's going to be some sort of linkage with one of these streaming services
Mhm.
or a promotion where EA is going to get access to the boxers, the licenses of these boxers and the likenesses of these boxers through a deal with the Zone or
Mhm.
through a
But
deal with
that's not going to
PS4.
make it to this console generation, you don't think?
I don't think if it might be smarter
Mhm.
for them to make it a launch title for a PS5 or the next Xbox, but I think that we will hear about it this year.
If we were talking about sports games that are coming out this year, what would be your, since this is largely a sports show, what would be your most anticipated sports game?
My most anticipated sports video game this year is actually WWE 2K20
Okay.
because I think that we are in for a redo of the engine.
Mhm.
I think they're going to redo the engine, the fighting engine, which is something that has been in need for a while. And I think that this might be the year that we see that. Um, I'm always excited for 2K, the NBA 2K. But I'm also that's the game that I worry the most about.
I'm also worried a bit about 2K because
Yeah.
I feel like 2K is stagnating.
Hmm.
And I think the model of game that they have right now is not super great. I thought they were moving in a decent direction until they got to the 2K League.
Hmm.
And once they hit the 2K League, they stayed in this one spot
Hmm.
that I don't think is very good. I
You
think they
know,
need to break that mold.
one thing I think is the problem is something that I have run into as a writer, right? Um, I'm a collector.
Hmm.
I'm a collector of things. I'm a collector of uh, swim lanes and angles and subjects and topics. it's part of what makes me unique Mazique, because I can touch on a lot of different things, but at times it becomes my biggest flaw,
Hmm.
because I'm too many places at one time and not enough of me is in one place, right? And I think that 2K, and maybe this is why I vibe with 2K, right? Because 2K is the same way in a lot, in very similar, because what makes their game so great is that it's so many different games. It is the collector mode, it's a franchise mode, it's the 5-on-5, it's the my career, it's all of these things, right? And everybody's like, oh boy, you can do all this stuff. But what I think is being lost in the process is focusing on making the core thing, which is basketball, as good as it can be, because your resources are so thin that it's not making the leaps that it needs to make from a core basis standpoint, you know um and instead what's happening is a lot of the things on the outside are just being shined up to have what really is manifesting itself as more of a superficial improvement than an actual core improvement, that is something that really is going to have more of a far-reaching impact. Now, the game itself, their basis, their foundation is so good and so strong that you still can have a lot of fun with the game.
Right.
It-
I'm gonna get it next year. I'm probably gonna enjoy it next year for at
yes.
least a good 2 months. But am I excited about it? No. However, I do sense a future topic, so I'm not gonna rebut you at all on what you're saying. But
Okay.
let's write that one down for future shows. 'Cause I think there's
I've
some
been
good meat there, and you
I've
brought up
been
some great
watching
subjects.
I've been watching Breaking Bad, so to quote Walter White, we'll put a pin in that.
I think we might have to steal that one.
Right, we'll put a pin in
We want to put a pin in that.
that. Right, put a
All right,
pin in
my two games, in terms of non-sports and sports, The Outer Worlds is definitely far and away the number one game I'm looking forward to.
that.
I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan, huge fan of the style of the Fallout games. Fallout 76 was a big disappointment, and The Outer Worlds looks like it's very much in the spirit of those games made by a lot of people who've been
Bethesda.
involved with that stuff. So I forgot the name of the studio. I'm not
It's
sure
not
if
Bethesda, is it?
it's the side studio,
Your side studio for
Outer
uh
Worlds. Yeah, it's not Bethesda proper, but they've worked on that stuff before, and yeah, it looks
Obsidian.
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 Yes, Obsidian. So it looks legit. I'm looking forward to that. And when it comes to sports games, the game I'm actually looking forward to the most, if it is coming out, would be UFC 4.
Yeah, it
If they
won't
make a UFC 4, they're not
yeah. It won't be this year. They're on an 18-month cycle.
okay.
And yeah, and honestly, you want to talk about a separate topic, that's absolutely a second. We definitely need to put a pin in that,
Yeah.
because the whole conversation about how frequently sports video games should come out is definitely a topic that we want to go back to, because I have some really strong thoughts about that for sure.
Hmm.
But yes, if that was coming out this year, absolutely,
Yeah.
it'd be
Because
the
that's a fun video game.
Oh,
They
it
did a
really
good
is.
job with that
I beat the
game.
brakes off my son all last night. Yeah, it was insane. So, but yeah, I would love it. I would love it. But yeah, man, I really do. I really do think that we're gonna get a boxing video game. I think something like the Zone Boxing,
Hmm.
the Zone, ESPN's the Zone, or not ESPN the Zone Boxing, but EA's the Zone Boxing, or ESPN made, EA and ESPN have had a link forever, but they haven't. EA has been really criticized by not using that IP as much
Hmm.
as they could have over the time. But ESPN has a relationship with Top Rank, so if they could get in with Top Rank, that would help. I mean, you probably be able to negotiate something with Terrence Crawford and Vasil Lomachenko, which would have an impact. Obviously, it would probably be bigger to link up with Golden Boy in the zone. You get Canelo, and then you could also include Matchroom in there. Then you get Anthony Joshua. So now you got the two biggest names in boxing for the most part. So, um, I wouldn't mind seeing my boy Al Heyman get the deal too. Not like he need any more money, but it wouldn't be bad. See Deontay Wilder and Broner, and you're probably not gonna get Floyd, but still, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, honestly, I'm a I don't want, this is just kind of a separate topic too, but I don't want to see a boxing game do any licenses at all. I
Mm.
don't want to see him do any licenses at all. I want him to let the community crowdsource that whole joint. And you just got to get your legals in order and find out what you can and can't do in regards to how great can you allow that creation suite to be, and be able to operate without getting sued. Because people are going to create Floyd Mayweather and all that kind of stuff, and they're going to share them and all. They're going to do
Right.
that, and you want them to do it, to be honest, and you want to give them the type of tool that they can do it. As a matter of fact, I have spoken directly to a developer who has flat told me that is his approach. And he's not a developer; he is the creative director of a studio, and he has flat told me that's his approach. And that when if the boxing game that he wants to make sees the light of day, that is what he's doing. So I'm very excited about that, and I don't know how good the game is going to be, but I'm just happy to see somebody giving one of my favorite sports another look. You know, but I'm also very excited about MLB The Show, because I think
You
they're
know
very
what?
consistent.
That's probably going to be. I'm probably going to pick that up this year for the first time. I've never played that game. Not a huge baseball fan these days,
Mhm.
but I know it's an excellent, excellent game.
It is
And I
so
think the
solid.
next installment is going to be the first one that I get into, and as I'm going to try and use it as a gateway drug to get
Mhm.
more into baseball.
Yeah, man. And you know what? It actually is just that,
Yeah.
because um, most of what my son knows about baseball he got from the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the game is the baseball is just kind of slow for young people.
Playing baseball and actually going to a baseball game is much, much better than watching baseball on TV.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
for
though we're going to a baseball game, you also have the option of not going to the entire game.
yeah,
You can show up in the fifth, sixth inning
yeah,
and have a sports experience. Whereas on TV, I mean, the game just starts. They
and
just start
but see,
commentating.
I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the storytelling that goes on, because see, being a good commentator in baseball is totally different than being a good commentator in every other game, every other
Yeah.
sport, because there's a lot of downtime, and you have to fill that downtime with storytelling, and with compelling angles and point of view, and different people want different things from their baseball broadcast. Some really super intellectual baseball fans, they love it when you're giving them all of these advanced statistics and you're showing them this person rounds first base and goes to third base, and they run on an average of 17.8 miles per hour as they hit as they round. Some fans love that. Other fans want to hear you tell old stories about baseball players from the
Right.
80s or just whatever, 70s, whatever. They want to hear that. And it just depends on what you like. But uh, watching a baseball game on television is literally like watching a story unfold, and it has all of these different subplots. And the commentators play a very big role in telling that story and giving you all that other perspective. So, um, it's I don't know. I don't know. I've always said that baseball is a sport. Well, I didn't say this. My cousin told me this a long time ago. He said baseball is a sport that is passed down from father to son or from father to daughter, because the sport is so slow. A kid is very rarely going to pick it up on his own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't have, or if she doesn't have someone that is there to sit them down with them, so the kid sits down with them at first because they just want to be with them, and they just want to be able to be hanging out with dad or mom, whoever it is that likes baseball. And but it turns into a teaching, and I'm showing you the game, and because on your own it would be too slow, you wouldn't take to it. But with a guide that you respect and admire, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes something different. And I don't know. I think that's kind of how it. that baseball is a special game. It really is. You know, it's and I think maybe part of the reason why it's so special to me is that it's not like, say, I guess same with boxing too. It's not for everybody, you know. But if you get it, I guess all of the sports are that way, because WWE is the same way. Because if you get WWE, and I don't think WWE is a sport, but if you get WWE, you get it.
Yeah.
You just get it. If you get professional wrestling, you just get it. You know, and other people who get it, within the first 5 minutes of the conversation, you're like, oh, you get it. Okay, we can talk about this. I don't have to talk about it with you.
I disagree that baseball is, I think it's almost a little more like chess to a degree, where chess is for everybody, but it has to, but everybody might need a different way into it. You know, it's not for everybody the same way as the dunk contest is for everybody. You don't even have to like basketball.
No,
if they start a dunk contest outside right now, if they just put up a hoop on a street lamp and people start on a telephone pole and people just start dunking on it and they nasty, everybody's going to get out and just start watching it.
Yeah.
Baseball is not like that.
Well, the home run derby is, which is the equivalent of the dunk contest.
I don't think it is.
I mean, it's the baseball equivalent of the dunk contest.
Which is my point. If they started hitting home runs outside, some people would be like, y'all better not hit my window and go back inside. But I think baseball as a game has been proven to be for everybody. It's an international sport, does very, very well internationally in Asia and South America, and has at one point been the #1 sport in America. But I think it hasn't adapted well to the competition because of what you said. It needs to be passed down. It's a beautiful, beautiful game in many, many, many ways, but not in direct comparison to the most popular sports right now, which have a much easier, quicker, more exciting entry. So I think it can be for everybody, but just not in the same way. It's not going to meet up with the violence of football, with the athletic skill and prowess of basketball, with the one-on-one-smanship of tennis and, you know, fighting and stuff like that. It doesn't match up well with that stuff. It's more in the traditional games like chess and pool, where there has to be an appreciation level attached to the sport. It's not just excitement and spectacle all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely see one is definitely more. I mean, baseball is it's just slower. It's just slower, and slow is not what's happening right now. You know, it's just not. It's just not. Slow is not what's happening right now. So, you know, that's just what it is.
I think it's a combination. Also, it's slow, and there's also a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So with golf, people can get casually into golf because you don't have to keep track of that many folks. You know,
but it's no. I mean, you choose not to keep track of all those folks because you just focus on the people that you like, and you focus on the people who are in the lead. You either focus on the people you like, or you focus on the people who are closest to the top of the lead.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And whereas with baseball, I mean, there's a lot of people in that dugout, man.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, but I mean,
a lot of folks.
On football, there's 22 guys on the field at one time.
Yeah, but only one guy throwing it, and he has the coolest job. Whereas with pitching, it's essentially a defensive player. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough in baseball. It's tough in baseball.
It's just, I guess it's just different. But yeah.
Yeah.
How could I be weak? I'm rather unique.